Oh, we good?
I think so. Yeah, it says we're live. Welcome, everybody, to episode 172 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We're your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. We are early.
Very early.
What are we doing? Haven't got enough on this week?
Just, we're just a bit bored with life.
Can't get
we
enough
just
of the
think we
show,
can
let's be real.
get more out of the podcast. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
look, that could be true, but the real truth is we're preparing for the hobby hangout, which is this Sunday.
Yep.
We would normally record on a Sunday night. That's our Sunday night ritual now, really, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
We don't really even have to plan a date. It's just always Sunday nights, isn't it?
Sunday evenings, very, very on the regular. It's almost been 3 years, so yeah. That's crazy.
That's nuts. No, it is 3 years, mate. If we've done 170, my maths is not great.
I'm trying to remember when the first episode dropped. We probably are around our 3-year anniversary, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Wow. I have to go back and find out on Spotify when the first episode dropped.
Anyway.
So if it's this week, happy anniversary. Anyway, yeah.
This is kind of awkward. Are we supposed to get each other presents?
Well,
what
given
do we do?
that I think we've both forgotten our anniversary, I think that goes to show. Speaks volumes, doesn't it?
I mean, now we're making confessions about forgetting anniversaries. So if I take my kid in for something, they always like, oh, what's your son's date of birth? And every single time they ask me, I'm like, give me 2 seconds. I'm quickly going through my calendar.
Let's see what the app says. Oh, no.
So the chance that I remember that our anniversary, Adam, I'm just putting this out here, is very, very, very low, mate. Very low.
Oh, slim pickings. All right. Fair.
Anyway, we've segued twice already. The reason why we're going tonight is because we've got the hobby hangout on Sunday.
We do.
We thought it would be better to get an episode out now, and then we can just relax and enjoy our Sunday and not have to rush home and do an episode. So that's why we're doing it.
We'll make it.
So we thought we'd, also take this opportunity to basically do the first 10 or 15 minutes is basically just talking about the hobby hangout. So let's plug the absolute life out of this. Guys, hobby hangout is this Sunday. If you're in Melbourne, get your tickets. If I read it properly, there's only 30 odd tickets left. So the tickets are absolutely selling out like hotcakes. Thehobbyhangout.com.au. Go there and get your tickets. All the early bird tickets are gone. So the current ticket price is $29 per. Doors open at 11:30 a.m. Finishes at 5. It is at the Melbourne Pavilion in Kensington. So make sure you are there. We would love to see you. We've got our own table this time around. We're going to be at the table the whole time too. We've made a handshake agreement. Either you and I are going to be at the table the whole time. We'll be live podcasting there. And what we want to do this year is get 5-minute hot takes from hobbyists. So come up and talk to us. If you want to come down, you can ask us a question. We've got a list of questions you can pick from that, we can ask you.
Yeah, if you don't have a question, we've definitely got a list here of questions, and we might even think of some extras on the day. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really excited. It'd be nice. We've got our little sign. We've got some stickers.
Yeah,
I'm getting a trade box. I'm going to case ready.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Let's hold that thought though for preparation for a second, because actually there's something that I probably should have told you today that completely slipped my mind, just like my children's date of birth.
And our anniversary,
yeah. Tyson Beck is going to be at the hobby hangout. And so I'm very excited to be in the same building as Tyson. I understand he's going to be there with an entourage. So people that are planning to rush Tyson, he has similar security guards to, celebrities like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. It's going to be like the full,
the full entourage
that's going to be there. So don't think about doing anything silly like trying to, hug or tackle the guy.
I thought you were going to say, and he's coming to do a couple of quick hitters with you.
He's coming down to do some quick hitters with us too, Ad. So that's the other thing.
Now I've got to get real questions lined up.
He has pledged 5 minutes of his time to us at the Hobby Hangout. So we are pumped for that.
We're humbled.
Tyson.
Awesome.
We are humbled, absolutely.
Looking forward
and
to
I'm
it.
actually interested to meet his entourage too, and like any security personnel. So I think we should buy them a beer. That's what we should do, is buy his entourage a beer.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
They've been working hard all day.
Yeah. That's good. Well, Tyson's not the only one we want to see. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious who's going to be there. We know a lot of the vendors. We've seen a few familiar faces the last couple of hangouts.
Yep.
Hopefully we see some new faces. So yeah, come on, say hi and ask us a question. Get on the show.
So let's talk about preparation. What are you getting ready for the Hobby Hangout?
I've got a case with some cards in it. And I may have made plans for tomorrow night that are overriding me packing that box with cards. So I'm gonna at the last minute kind of rush and jam a bunch of trades in and hope I've got some higher end, some lower end, some bits and pieces. It's mainly lower end stuff. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's I'll just some extra cards, do some trades, look at some people's cards, hopefully make a couple of deals. Who knows?
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not one of the, as we know with the show, I don't prep a lot, so I'll jam a bunch of stuff in a box, and if I've accidentally brought something that's not sports cards, I'm sorry. So if I've got Pokemon cards, actually Pokemon might be there. It's fine.
I think that is not an issue at all. And actually,
is it business cards?
If you have different sports, you have Pokemon, you have Disney, it's not a problem at all. But I would say predominantly it's NBA. Like, that is what's true.
Yeah.
So this is not a piece of advice, but I would say this is something to keep in mind, is that even if you haven't comped and priced every card that's in your collection, at least have a rough idea of what you're chasing for it, because there is nothing worse going to a vendor or trying to do a trade with somebody and they just can't give you a value. So at least have a ballpark in your head, even if it's wrong. Just
can I segue to some advice? If you've got your phone and you've got the 130 point app.
Oh, now we're talking.
It does the pricing look up, the photo look up.
The new app, that's right. Yeah, it automatically will do it for you. So that is a very good point, Ad. Well placed advertising there, mate. Yep. Which is not a paid advertisement, by the way.
No. Maybe Lane can come and give us another 5 minutes of his time.
Maybe Lane could.
There we go. See?
Yeah.
But yeah, like that app comes in handy. It does a good photo search. But yeah, good advice. Very good advice. Actually doing a bit of preparation and knowing what your cards are worth.
Yeah, just a rough idea. I think that's really important.
I agree.
Take top loaders and card protection. That's always something too that, you'll pick up something and then you're like, it's just sitting loose in my bag now. That's something else I've started to do too.
That's you're full of them. I'm like, just make sure you had your coffee and wide awake and alert on the day. So you've got really good advice.
I've got two more good ones. A little bit of cash is good, but having some electronic payments, so whether it's PayPal or PayID, have that ready to go.
Very nice.
Not all vendors are going to have a credit card facility, so that's also sort of something else just to keep in mind there, because like some people are just regular hobbyists who've gone out and got a table. So, they're not a professional unit.
Via PayPal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What else to say? Yeah, probably just make sure you get there nice and early. That's probably the thing that I've enjoyed the most, and get to the trading zones.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Get to the trading zones and, just chat with people and ask to look through people's boxes. I know that's sort of like a weird thing to say, but just sort of get used to saying it, and people are always happy, for you to, check it out, and they'll probably keep an eye on you as you're doing it, and that's, that's totally understandable, but it's definitely worth banging that out. Alrighty. Anything else we need to talk about the Hobby Hangout and preparation for it? Parking isn't great there, so I'm personally a fan of public transport, but you can get parking there, but the later you get there, the further you have to walk. I think that's probably worth mentioning.
That's a really good point. It actually takes me quite a while to get there if I don't drive, but driving's terrible. So yeah, I'm very much I do a tram, I think, from where I am.
Yeah, I'll be tramming too.
Yeah. It feels a bit. It's one of those things. It's just and it's a Sunday, so like hopefully there's an abundance of parking. But yeah, if you get there late, the day it'll be the middle of the day and parking may be scarce.
Yep. Alrighty, let's get to the meat of tonight's dinner, Luka Doncic. Let's get straight to it.
Special.
You pretty much were trolling me on the last episode that we haven't talked about him, so I was like, "That's it. He's going first onto the run sheet this week."
I feel like I was baited into mentioning Luka and having a chuckle.
I don't really feel like I have to bait you to you go hating on Luka. Like, let's keep it real. We talk about
the best in the league and the worst in the league, and then every time you say the worst in the league, I'm kidding. He's not actually one of the worst in the league. He's actually one of the best out there. He just won nothing, really.
Yeah.
Luka's. I've got his 1 year prices. He's like very, very steady with a slight spike around June, which is funny because that was the playoffs, June, July this year. But yeah, the last 3 months he's down 3%. Last 3 months, not much of a change. Last sold price is $1,299. So that $1,200 to $1,300 price point just seems to be, for his silver, that is, seems to be. I mean, I didn't want people to get confused. That is his silver, even though the pop counts over 2,000.
Yeah.
Because yeah. I mean, his silver has the pop count of a lot of people's base cards.
So if you're a relatively new user for the show, the context of Adam's thinly veiled barb there is that the population on this card is quite high. And
I can get the sledgehammer out and show you his base card, which is a
serious question. So let's just do sort of an education piece around this.
Yeah, let's do
What do you think is a reasonable pop count for a card to be so that it still remains collectible?
Are we silver? There's I suppose there's different ages of basketball cards.
Yeah.
Because then there's the tops. For argument's sake, the Kobe Topps Chrome, not the refractor, and the refractor and the silver prism are like the base and.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I'll bring up the actual pop because I would rather do some fact checking, but I think it's around a 500 or 600. For the Topps Chrome. That's the base for Kobe Bryant.
So in that case, then, if there's say 600 of them, it's about there's 4 times too many in your head.
Yeah. So let's go Topps Chrome. Oh wait, maybe I was wrong. Oh, that's PSA 9. Pop 838 on the PSA 10 Topps Chrome Kobe.
Sure. So let's call it 3 times.
Right?
Yep.
Last sold price for Kobe for the PSA 10 was $5,450. That said, we're also living in a time where BGS was high, so that pop count's also high at $740.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I think
idea.
For that card and that time, that's the appropriate comp. Yep, definitely.
But the refractor, also known as the silver prism,
yep,
a PSA 10 1996 Topps Chrome refractor, Kobe Bryant,
yep,
last sold for $102,000 because there's 63 of them.
Mm.
Right? It's an incredibly scarce commodity.
Yep.
So we're talking the silver prism for Luka is 3 times higher than the base for Kobe. So we're in a different scale. Obviously, things are different. There are more parallels. There's an abundance of different types of cards, and
the ultra modern era is completely
the
different.
Kobe rookie. So this is just the one that people most identify and most see. But I'll go back to the Luka thing. The pop count on his base is 20,373.
Yeah.
Right? So the base card, and that's last sold for $176.
Is that PSA 10?
PSA 10 base card.
Is 20,000.
20,000 pop count, last sold for $176.50. And over the last 3 months, it's down 14%. So it's not something that's like it's always been high. In fact, the highest this card's got over it was at one period in the last 2 years, so not at the COVID crazy, was over $300. It's a base card between $200 and $300. But the pop count on it's 20,000. Everyone can get one of these. Mm-hmm. The abundance of it is insane.
Yeah, I think that card is is fraught with treachery, like as far as I'm concerned, particularly the base.
Hmm.
There's silver on that. So, to be honest with you, I really appreciated your insights. But if I can be honest, I was almost trying to set you up then.
I feel like I was.
To get a little bit of a response. Because what I was going to say was, I almost feel like that Luka card has sort of stepped into rarefied air. So where I'm going with this is like, there's always exceptions to the rules. And I think what you said about the Kobe stuff is 100% correct. But let's talk about the 86 Fleer Jordan card.
Yep.
So PSA, and I'm looking at the total population here. So this is all the different grades. There's 27,000 of that. Then if you look at Beckett, all the total graded cards is 14,000. So roughly we're up to around 30,000 there. SGC, there's another 4,000. So let's just round it up to 35. But still, like fives go for hundreds of dollars, if not thousands in that. Like PSA fives. Do you know what I mean? And no one cares that there's 30,000 of that card. It's just, they want a Jordan rookie and that's that. So
yeah,
I'm almost getting the feeling with this population, with this price point, like at 1,300, that's not really speculation anymore. That's a genuine purchase. Particularly the number of reps we're up to here too,
So hang on, so you're comparing Jordan to Luka?
I'm putting him in the same sentence in the hobby perspective.
Fair. Okay.
But absolutely not in a competitive perspective and achievement perspective. So just to be clear, like...
Yeah, that's cool. So the total pop on Luka's silver is 8,000. And the total pop on the base... Sorry, there's so many different parallels that finding the base again was tricky. 46,000.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
That's crazy.
We should definitely shout out to the young man who has generated this data too. So shout out to Ryan at GemRate, who supplies all the back-end data to Card Letter.
Yeah.
I hope you're well, right?
But it's
So I think, okay, so the real question for me is, so the other week we were talking about Tatum. We're using him as like the current comp. His population is in around the 700 mark. Hang on a second. Let me get my numbers right here. His price is around the $700
mark is where Tatum's been sitting and hovering.
Tatum. And what was his population on that?
That's a good question. 800 or 900, was it? No? 1,200? I don't know. I'm just guessing.
It's a bit like my child's birthday. It's impossible to remember.
That's going to be an underlying theme of the episode, I feel. By the way, it's the 5th of December is our anniversary. Our first episode.
We have an anniversary?
Yeah, the 5th of
900
December.
is his pop. Yeah, so look, if we're using that as a measuring stick.
And his base card is only, the PSA 10's got a pop of 6,400.
Wow.
Don't know what that has to do with the price of sugar, but... Yeah, pop 901. Yeah, interesting.
All right, no, serious question. So should you be buying Luka silvers at the moment?
I don't think so. And look, jokes aside, my narrative and the reason I don't want to invest in Luka is because people have already paid for the hype tax on it. Like it's not like if he gets it, do you know what I mean? They're paying, it's like the expectation, say Tatum does, they go back to back, Tatum wins an MVP, and then he goes from 700 to 1,200. Like, I think him and Luka are neck and neck, but everyone's already paid the tax on Luka. So there's no value there. Now, I could be wrong. Luka could dominate the league, win 5 championships in a row, bunch of MVPs, and that 1,200 might be laughable. It might be a $5,000 card. But I'm relatively confident that the future pricing has already been paid with the hype. I feel like Zion not living up to expectations, had he not got injured, is what we're dealing with.
Yeah. So I think for me, I'm betting on pedigree, and when I watch this guy play, like, he just ticks all the boxes. I've got no real, like, genuine concerns about him. Sure. He's only 25 years old.
Yeah.
And it feels like he's been in the league for 10 years. Like, do you know what I mean? In my head, I feel like I've been watching this kid, play for a long time. This is his numbers from this year: 29 points a game, 1.6 steals, 10 assists, 7.8 rebounds. Let's just call it 8, and nearly 4 3-pointers a game at 37% clip. Like that's, out of this world numbers. So my answer to this is he is a buy, but you need to be selective. So where I'm going with this is, in my own PC, I bought the Ruby Wave, and my rationale for buying the Ruby Wave was I think buying Lucas is a good play, and particularly when he took a dive 12 months, 18 months ago, he was like quite down a bit. The population on that is just 346. And I do think at some point the population is important, and it's all it's all ratioed. So for example, if I had infinite coin, I'd be looking at cards like this: the choice red to 88. The population on that is just 23 PSA 10, and that last sold for 3,500.
I obviously go for the color match, so I'm going for the blues.
Relatively, like if you got a silver that's selling at 1,200, there's 2,000 of them. You only need but okay, you know what I'm trying to say.
I know exactly.
You only need another $2,000, and then the population is like 1/100th of what it is.
All right.
So I think that's sort of where my head is going with all this. I feel like you almost just need to put your hand just a little bit deeper into your pocket and just sort of like pull something else out. Because if you look at these graphs, particularly in the old time, a lot of this stuff is like really down.
What about, all right. What are your thoughts on fast break here?
Look, I'm not massive onto fast break. I think there's a lot of value in fast break because it's under collected.
Yeah.
And so I would put that into the bucket of do not buy it if you don't like it.
Okay, so the reason I ask, I've just brought up the blue to $199. Last sold price is $10,000, and it's not in the last 3 months. In fact, it's not. When was it? It was July this year.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So July 2024 sold for $10,800.
I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Fast break blue.
Yeah.
To 175 has a pop of 70.
Yeah.
Last sold for $3,900.
Yeah, I think that's the type of thing where you would do really well out of it.
The fast break blue is the one that I would, if I were to buy a Luca, buy that one.
Yeah.
Because I think this is, if the ship does sink, it's not going down like it's not a straight line down.
No.
Like it's a soft landing. So there'd be time for the women and children to get off. It'd be like the Titanic.
Absolutely.
Jack won't survive. Spoiler alert. But yeah, like it's not. I just think in this overproduction of cards, we need to be sensible and not sort of buy into the hype so much. And look, the Silver Prism is it's amazing that it's held that level. Are we experiencing something similar with Giannis's decline at the moment? Do you know, like?
Oh, I don't know about that.
What's happening to Giannis as an individual versus Giannis's team is concerning.
I think that's something we should talk. We should actually look into that properly and do a segment on it. Adam.
Yeah. Because I think there are these little question marks that are starting to get raised.
Because actually, I think I'm going to say that for another day. Let's go to a break and we'll come back and we'll do Adam's eBay nightmare.
Uh-oh.
And we are back. Adam, how are you doing?
I'm refreshed.
Excellent. Now, you need to tell us about all the hard work you've been putting into YouTube and plug that thing, mate. Plug it. Go.
Plug it. What do I say? I've been cleaning up our YouTube channel. We do go live there every Sunday or Wednesday night. It depends what night of the week we're going live, but normally it's a Sunday.
Typically
night.
Sundays.
Typically Sunday. You will if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can actually tick a bell to get notified when we go live.
That's right. Turn on your notifications.
You get like a little pop-up on your phone that says, hey, Adam and Russell are going live. Jump in there and give them hell.
Exactly.
If you want your notification to say that. don't all. It could be just like be nice and stuff.
Fact check us. Ask Russell when his kid's born. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I've put a bunch of shorter videos. So obviously the Lucas segment that we've just done probably will go up as an individual video for those that missed it on the pod or just want to listen to that. So there's little bits of that. We put up our weekly highlights. You can listen to every episode of the podcast, and it wasn't the YouTube feed that I went to, actually. Just counted that we did 4 in December 2021 to figure out the date. Anyway, every episode is on from episode 1 through to forever.
Yep.
Is available on YouTube. We would really appreciate it if you're listening to just pop over and just subscribe to the channel. Let the algorithm know that you've identified us there and give our videos a like. Say hello, make some comments. We'll reply. I go through the YouTube and look to reply to all the comments where I can. So
I think the best way to say it is we've just been putting stuff up willy-nilly. Now you've gone through and curated it all, and it looks fantastic. You've put new pictures on everything. So yeah, thank you, Adam. Honestly, you've done a really good job there, mate. So thank you so much.
Yeah. And if there's content you guys want, let us know. That's what the comments are there for on YouTube. So.
All right, tell us about your nightmare eBay experience, man. Let's go.
So, funny story, not really funny at all. About a year and a half ago, I think we did a topic. We did a topic about custom cards and people trying to mislead people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I may or may not have been in a meeting, skimming eBay, or
do we need to edit this out?
I might bleep bits of it. I got a notification. I was on a break. It's fine. But I didn't have time. I didn't have time to drill down. I was watching a card that I thought was genuine. And I didn't dig as deep as I should have. Anyway, I bid at the last minute. The bidding had already gone up. It's not like it was a $50 card and all of a sudden at the last minute it was up near $2,000. It was in and around the $1,800-$1,900 mark. And I was like, should I, shouldn't I? There's too much value here not to. Click bid. So I bought myself what I thought was a Kobe Bryant Kaboom. And I'm like, maybe I've just been lucky. So I went and I paid for it. And the seller shipped it out. And the package arrived and I was really excited. And I went to the post office. And big smile on my face, brought it back home. And I opened this parcel. Only to find that it was a knockoff from like Temu that wouldn't even pass for a crappy Revolution different finish.
So what was the giveaway? What was the initial giveaway to you?
The discoloration. It was like a purple card. It was a photo of the Kaboom. Like it was an image of that Kaboom just on glossy paper.
Yeah, right.
It was trash. The good thing is that this guy had tried to sell the fact that it was a legit Panini card by putting in their item description, the additional things, that it was manufactured and produced by Panini, which it wasn't.
Yeah. So
it may have said in the description something misleading, like it said hollow. So there was some other thing in the description that wasn't an exact match, but it said Kobe Bryant Kaboom and then added some bits and bobs. However, in the description, it said manufactured by Panini, Kaboom, subset Kaboom, release year 2018. Do you know what I mean? Like it tried to be, to claim it was the Panini released Kaboom.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Anyway, I sent the guy a message, said, I'm not happy with this purchase. I'd like to return it. And there was radio silence. Surprising, really. Someone sending you spending $2,000 on a fake card. Radio silence. So I messaged him again. I said, hey, look, this is a fake card. I know it's a fake card. I would really, I just want my money back. I just want my money back. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did the right thing. Contact eBay. Obviously, you have to wait 3 days or whatever it is. eBay said, yep, no problem. We'll log it as a case. You won't have to deal with this guy again. We apologize for the inconvenience. Here's a shipping label. Send it back and we'll issue you a refund. Like, I wanted to destroy the thing, but obviously, in order to get my refund, I need to return the fake unlicensed card.
Yeah.
So I did that. Because I'm in Australia, the label they provided me was US only. And when I went into the label, it was like, print a label. It's like, and then it said, or enter tracking details. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I went and posted the card and then entered the tracking details into the field that they provided in the case.
Yeah.
Right. Waited 2 weeks. The card got back. Contact eBay. I'm like, the card's been delivered. Can I have my refund? No. Like, why not? They're like, you didn't use our label. I'm like, I can't use your label. I'm in Australia. Oh, you can log a... What was it? They said I could log an appeal. They closed my case saying no refund. So I was out of pocket $2,000. I didn't have my bullshit fake... Sorry for the language. My fake Kobe Bryant. I had nothing apart from a lot of frustration. So I politely reached out to eBay again. And I rang them this time, and that was the last time I made an actual... Or when I asked for help, it's the last time I physically spoke to someone, because I found out after the fact that if you just go in the text chat, you get a transcript of every conversation.
Yeah. So, and that is a unfortunate part of the world we live in with customer service. And for people at home, I'm using air quotes. It's,
Yeah. So this guy on the phone assured me that he was going to take care of the appeal. There wouldn't be any problems at all. He would put the proper tracking details in, send it through, and within 3 to 5 business days, I would have my refund. Surprise, surprise, I did not get my refund, and the appeal was considered closed. I hadn't seen anything about the appeal being closed. They hadn't emailed me yet. So I jumped back on eBay because I'm a little bit annoyed at this stage.
Yeah, for sure.
Said, excuse me, you've screwed up. This is the thing. This is the case. I've sent the card back. I've got tracking. I've got confirmation here. It was delivered. I've done everything you've asked of me. So why am I not getting my refund, and why are you making me the villain in the story?
Yeah.
Like, what have I done wrong here? And they're like, well, you didn't use our label. The case is now closed. And actually went to end the chat. At which point I said, the first person I spoke to assured me of a refund. Bring back the great transcript of the initial inquiry, which was text. And I quoted that transcript number, to which they went, oh, okay, the guys assured you a refund. Have you got all the tracking details? Where's the receipt to show that you actually posted it? And I'm like, I can get that. And I couldn't find the receipt because it had been about 4 weeks, and I was ready to jump down the phone and give eBay a piece of my mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went back to the post office. I got the proof. I knew the time that I'd lodged the return. So I got a copy of the printout of the receipt, which had my phone number, tracking number, all the things that had insurance, and it was the proof of delivery, so signature on delivery. So I sent that. Nothing. Another week passes. Like, excuse me, I call it. At this point, call means I got on my high horse and started typing. So I jumped into eBay, and it took a while to get through to get to customer service. You really have to be persistent to get through to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Rather than the automated assistant. It's like, I don't know if you remember the old days, but if you got through to an old voice recognition thing on customer service, if you started swearing or just kept pressing the 0, they eventually just put you through to somebody. Anyway, so they came back to me and they said, look, thanks for providing that receipt. However, you haven't provided a signed proof of delivery. At this point, I probably won't share the details of the transcript because I think I did very well to be calm. I said, I laid out my frustrations. I said, this is I don't know, fifth time I've had to contact eBay, fifth or sixth time. You've closed the case on me. You've ignored what I've had to say. I keep giving you evidence, the evidence you specifically ask for, and you then don't accept it. At this point, I was getting incredibly frustrated. I lodged a case with Australia Post. I got the proof of delivery. I emailed them the proof of the delivery. At which point, I then got an email back from eBay in reference to the transcript I just got off the call with, saying that I hadn't uploaded the proof of delivery. I then replied to the email, so I've gone off the platform onto a hard email, uploaded the receipt, the photo of the POD, the tracking history and journey of the card, all transcripts that I had gone through with eBay, and said, if this is insufficient evidence, you will need to explain this to me. I've done everything you've asked. And that was on the 4th of November. I got an email, I think it was the 10th, saying that the evidence had been received and they apologized. Once the high value team had signed off, and I was at that point, I'm like, if you guys don't sign off, there's going to be some problems. They said once they've signed off on that, you'll get your refund. And yeah, I can happily say that on the 12th of November, after getting the card in mid-September, I finally got my refund. But that was one of the most unpleasant experiences I've ever had, and I felt like I'd done something wrong.
So, like, frustrations aside,
yeah,
and trying to look at this as a pure
experience,
experience and like learning thing.
Yeah.
So, like, my two questions for you are. So the first one is like going right back to the start. So I'm just looking at sold listings of Kobe Bryant kabooms. You will not believe how many are selling below $200.
Below 200?
Right. So what I'm meaning by this, basically, they're either called customs.
Yep.
They're called cracked ices.
Yes,
they're called promotional cards, or the other one, which is probably my favorite, it's called a halo, HALO, instead of a holo.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of
there are
fakes going around, right? Yep. But then when you look at the real one, so then I'm looking at one here that sold on the 10th of November for $89.99.
Yep.
And then the one directly underneath that is sold for $5,000, but it's a PSA 10. It's exactly the same card. Like, it's exactly the same design. So actually, this is a little bit of my own like fear coming out here, and probably where I empathize with you like a little bit. Like, I'm not saying this is your fault. I'm just saying, like,
look, you know, I could have very much paid attention instead of
you know what I'm trying to say, right? Yeah. But actually the card looks quite similar.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're looking at this from a system point of view, how do you avoid this from happening again? And what I was thinking in my head, and I'll definitely want to get your feedback on this too, is actually look at cards in the PSA registry.
Yeah.
Because as much as we rag on PSA, but, you know, overcharging people and upcharging and blah, 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 actually, you can also use them as a source of truth. And they have a lot of information in their database. They have, like, you know, photographs. They've got serial numbers. Like,
of course,
And if I'm going to trust anybody who's going to catalog a card correctly, look, I'm sure Lane does it right, and there's Beckett does it right, and blah blah blah. But the PSA registry, like, I put a lot of beef into that, so that's probably like one thing I'll take away from that
for sure.
And then the second thing, I'm really interested to hear your opinion on this. You chose not to use the eBay shipping slip. What would you do differently next time?
I would ask at Australia Post how I can use that eBay shipping slip and keep that tracking. Because all they did was stick their international postage thing over the top of it and overrid it. So they didn't, obviously, the old lady at the post office didn't understand.
Or do you go back
to my original label was?
Or do you go back to eBay and say you need to reissue me a different one? Like,
that's a good.
Do you know what I mean? Like, again, I'm just trying to look at this from a systems point of view.
Yeah,
because I find this very difficult to believe you're the only person who's had this experience.
Oh, and I'm sure there wouldn't be people selling these ridiculous cards on eBay if they.
And actually, if you think about it, I think in some ways you got lucky because somehow Australia Post got you evidence of the signature on delivery?
I within 2 days, no, within a day, Australia Post. I emailed Australia Post and said, "Here's my tracking number. I paid for signature on delivery," and United States Postal Service sent Australia Post. Then they sent it to me. The signed POD. So whatever signature and the address they delivered it at.
Obviously, I have much less faith in the system than you do.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
I'm actually shocked that you received that information at all, let alone in a timely fashion. So I feel like that's something else where, the system could have let you down a little bit too.
I was terrified the system was going to let me down. Yeah. But it's my question to you,
Hit me.
For cards of that higher value.
Yeah.
Look, if I'm buying rookie cards and things, I'm gonna look for a PSA 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, but and we're talking kabooms, and how do you not get caught up if it's not a graded card?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, how do you get assurances of like, sure, I was lucky this time, and I say lucky very, very tongue in cheek, because I would say I was very persistent. There was no way I was letting this go, and eBay thought they'd fob me off a few times. And that would be my advice, is even if they say a case is closed, argue until you're blue in the face and don't give up, especially if you're in the right. But yeah, like, how do you avoid, if a card's like it is legitimately a $3,000 card, and you bid it up, it bids up, and it's, I don't know, you get it $2,900, and it looks all fine, and it's not. How do you stop the fake from getting through?
Yeah, so I think the other thing, I'm just looking through the registry of the solds on these cards. A lot of these people who are flogging these off haven't got more than 100 feedback points.
Yeah, my guy had like 600 or 700, I think.
Yeah, that's a bit of an outlier.
I should have realized that the guy sells repacks. So
yeah,
and the other stuff, like, he didn't have any other high end. Yeah,
there's actually one here that's sold raw for 2,500, and that's sold by Tull.
Yeah,
and he has 12,000 reviews. So I feel like that's something that I would use to feel confident about.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, it really is about knowing your product. So for example, there's some things I feel pretty confident about purchasing, and I wouldn't need to lean onto somebody. But okay, so the perfect example is a Jordan rookie. I would never buy a Jordan rookie without talking to someone who I would consider to be an expert. But if I'm being honest with you, I wouldn't buy a Jordan rookie unless it was PSA graded, because then I know I've got that guarantee.
Yep, spot on.
And so that's probably like where I'm sort of leaning the second part of my question. Depends on my knowledge level. If I don't know enough about it, I would buy that insurance for myself and buying it PSA graded, even if it's a lower grade.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's how I'd answer your question.
Yeah. It's I'm glad the nightmare's over. That's pretty much my summary of it. But my advice to anyone out there is, if you do have issues with eBay, persist and seriously go via their talk to an agent and do it via the text, because you get a transcript. It's a recorded, a documented version of the conversation. So it's not he said, she said. It's black and white.
Well, thanks for sharing that story, Ad. And we are now going to hear from our second sponsor, FastBreakTradingCards.com. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We are very, very grateful for it. Check out the lads at 75 Tulip Street in Cheltenham. However, I do believe the boys are at the Asian card show at the moment.
Did they just go, or did they come? Are they back?
I've been seeing a lot of videos of them on Instagram. So I don't know if the shop's open this week, actually. So give them a call or shoot them a message before you drop in this week.
What happens if they get back and they're just straight to the hobby hangout?
I wouldn't put it past those two. They're like cardboard cowboys, really, aren't they?
Pretty much.
We should get them a cowboy hat and write their name on it.
They've probably got like a Dallas Cowboys helmet.
Bucket hat, yeah. Sports trading cards. basketball, football, baseball, UFC, soccer, wrestling, Fanatics Authentic, entertainment, Disney Lorcana, Pokemon, One Piece, Star Wars, supplies, grading. They do PSA grading for you. They'll do BGS grading for you. Hit the guys up. Promo code YCCT10 for 10% off all Fanatics Authentic. Thank you guys for your support. We are very, very grateful for it. Adam, how are you feeling, mate? Do you feel unloaded?
I feel
now you have that off your chest.
I've told the story a couple of times now, but it was nice to sort of go through it in its entirety. I'm sorry if I put anyone to sleep. And it just goes to show that all of us are susceptible to getting duped. Yeah,
I don't think that you should feel bad about being tricked. I think the person who is trying to trick people is the one that shouldn't be sleeping at night.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Ja Morant has been going off this year, so I think it is more than appropriate to check in on this young man. And he is currently trading at $493. If you're looking at that over the last 2 weeks, that's up 12%. If you're looking at this over the last month, he's up about 4%. So it's not a huge jump. We're talking about population earlier today. 1,713 is his population on that. I think my opinion from last week hasn't really changed at all. But in saying that, he is now back on the injury list, considered week to week, and doesn't have a specific timetable for his return. The team announced on Sunday. So, as always, we wish him nothing but the best to get better. I believe it was an in-air injury that he suffered from.
Probably while he was flying, yeah. Man is...
And in true You Can't Comp This, we have found a beautiful Ja Morant card here. Immaculate Logo Man 1 of 1 from 1920. So that is his rookie year. To think about that for 2 seconds. Sold for 240,000 USD.
Sheesh.
I don't like that as a price. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that's a really big risk. I think Logomans are definitely valuable, but NT and Flawless is fine. I'm totally fine with that. But is Immaculate that higher end of a product? I'm not too sure I'm in on that.
Whoa. Rookie Logo Man?
Yeah, it's iMac though. I mean, technically, NT's got stickers in it now too. So, like,
I was gonna say,
do we now consider NT to be not so much of a?
It's not Don Russ.
I mean,
yeah. I guess the next day autos got value in a different way, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's a relatively high end product.
Yep.
Relatively.
Do you think that's a shrewd purchase?
I think someone's investing in him and thinks that he's, I don't know, going to get some kind of transplant to make the rest of his body rubber so he bounces off things when he lands. But
yeah. I think that's the other thing that's in the back of my head. Like, I feel like low end, having a dabble on jar is fine, but 1,000 plus, it makes me like super nervous, and to multiply that by 240,
gulp.
That's
just
medication requiring anxiety,
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, next on the list, Dyson Daniels at it again. I've entitled this one versus the Boston Celtics, where the Hawks got up by 1 point, 41 minutes, 12 of 21 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. We'll give him that. 3 rebounds, 7 assists, and 6 steals. 28 points was his final line there. Unfortunately, 6 turnovers, but again, we can forgive that.
Well, they won the game, so
in 41 minutes of play, that's huge for Daniels. Look, I'm just going to put myself into the Twitter echo chamber on this. I love this kid. I think he's a good NBA basketball player. I think if you're picking up his cards for a couple of bucks each, which, you can still get some stuff for pretty cheap. I think it's fantastic. He's got a lot of upside. I think he's in a really good situation for him. I really do believe the NBA is 60% situational, and I think he and Trae Young make a whole lot of sense together. So just 21 years of age, I think he's still got a lot of upside there too. So, yep.
Positive.
Dyson Daniels added again. I'm not too sure if this is too soon for you, mate, but we've got a Allen Iverson boom.
Of course we do.
PSA graded, not raw, from Temu. Population on this is just 10. And this is the PSA 9 too, which is like pretty interesting. So this sold for 1,424. Look, I've got no problem with this at all.
It's got a PSA guarantee. It's fine.
Yeah, look, I've got no problems with this at all. I think this is a really good purchase. I think that Iverson is, influential for that era of player. I think the artwork on this card is just way ahead of its time. And we're starting to see, sets coming, or not starting to see. We've had a lot of sets in the last 12 months that have had, very similar artwork. In fact, they brought back the original artist in Hoops this year. Look, I love this. I think for a long-term purchase, this is just, money in the bank. And yep, shrewd. So yeah, Kaboom's buys and holds. I think that's the best way to say it.
Yeah, I don't think. I can't say a bad word about Kabooms unless they're fake.
Let's do a quick injury rundown, because since last week we had a fair few injuries to go through. We've got more coming up this week. So Raptors say guard Emmanuel quickly sustained a partial tear to his ulnar collateral ligament in his left elbow. Reevaluated in a week. I don't think this is going to be a week injury. I think this is more going to be like a month.
Yep.
I'm just putting my fake medical hat on for a second. That comes from Mark J. Spears. So I think the obvious upside here is Grady Dick. Grady Dick, RJ Barrett are going to be the big winners there. Cooper Flag, sweepstakes also are the winners for the Toronto Raptors in this situation. The Pelicans have got another injury. This comes from Shams. Another injury blow to the Pelicans. Pelicans guard Jose Alvarado, expected to miss 6 weeks to a hamstring.
They can't take a trick, can they?
They are getting. They can't take a trick. Yeah, they can.
They I don't know.
They're getting hammered at the moment, though. So
6 of their top 7 are out. This is the Brandon Ingram show.
RAP the Pelicans bench for sure.
Yeah.
This comes from Buckets on Instagram. OKC's first, second, and third string centers are all injured. So Chet is out until January 26th. We can mesh this in with our next story. So unfortunately, Chet took a pretty heavy fall.
Yeah.
It was initially reported as a hip injury, but actually he's got a fractured pelvis. So that's something that you can't particularly, get back from quickly. So I don't think he's going to be back in January. I think that's going to be like March or something like that. So Hartenstein, which was their big off-season acquisition, is not going to be back until December the 3rd. I kind of get the feeling they'll rush him back a little bit sooner. And then their third string, the Paul Williams brother, is going to be back in December the 3rd too. I don't know. Do they need to rush him back? I'm not too sure about that. But their starting lineup super interesting. Basically, SGA was their tallest player on the court.
They're just going to play like a crazy version of small ball.
I think Jalen Williams is going to play center for them. I think that's the idea.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not going to
Probably
lie.
league,
I think that's
league path.
Yeah.
Pass worthy, isn't it really?
Yeah, for sure.
Do we take another ad break now and then come back and just do the last 10 minutes? We're way out of sorts here, but that's okay.
I may have gone on and on.
It's okay.
And on.
It's fine. It was organic. It was, yeah.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Yep. US Sports Cards Australia, thank you so much for your support and your pledge for the next 10 months or so. We are very grateful for this. Before I go into ComCA, I'll really quickly just pick up one thing on the website and I will highlight this. If you go to ussportscardsaustralia.com.au, go to collectible protection, click on sleeves and bags. Let's see what Roscoe's got for sale here. He has got USSCA branded card sleeves for $1.80. He's got the BCW Vinyl 9 Pocket Page Standard Trading Cards pack of 20 for $18.99, which seems outrageous when you were a kid because you could pick those up for 10 cents each. But with today's inflation, that is an absolute bargain. BCW Thick Card Sleeves Protectors. That just looks like a different brand of penny sleeves. They're $2.20 for. And then the graded card sleeves are $10 a packet, which actually is quite handy for putting, obviously, graded cards into, but also you can bag up your cards in preparation for the hobby hangout this weekend. I just slid that in there absolutely beautifully. Now, ComCA is the big one that Ross has been working on. It's exactly the same as ComC in America, but ComC in Australia. Send all of your cards to Ross. He will list them, sell them, put the money into your bank account. You don't have to worry about a thing. He's now got the seller login. He's got the submission for your new sellers on there. He's getting everything up and automated. He's got about 3,000 cards on there, another 2,000 to go up. So 5,000 in total, guys. Check it out on ussportscardsaustralia.com.au. Adam, we are back.
We're back.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm ready for the final stretch.
Excellent. Alrighty, Brandon Miller, 1 of 1. Here we go. If you're listening at home and you're wondering why are we talking about cards, you can always look at them on the YouTube stream and also in the podcast description. I always put in the links every week. So if you want to click on those,
nice, you
can see the pictures that we are now referring to.
I normally click Russell's links so that I can display them on the YouTube stream.
Or that too. That too, yeah. Brandon Miller has just hit the game-winning buzzer beater against Detroit, recorded 19.6 rebounds and 4 assists. His Nebula Optic 1 of 1 just sold for $13,949. Now, we just had another 1 of 1 in today's show, which was the Ja Morant for $240,000. A little bit difficult to compare the two.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But for some context there, it gives us a bit of a baseline of like where we're standing.
How much is a pack of Donruss Optic?
So the Nebula's come out of choice. So that's a little bit of a trick question.
Okay.
And there's only one packet in a box of choice, Adam. So I feel
box?
like you were trying to test my
what's the box worth?
My knowledge of that. I would probably say around 500 Aussie off the top of my head.
Cool. And what's a box of iMac worth?
2.5, 3,000.
Okay. So
probably more now, actually. Probably, yeah. Now we're a couple of years down the track for Ja Morant and Zion.
Yeah. So I'm just like the cost of a pack to get that, plus you're guaranteed, is only one.
The context.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Anyway, let's get back to Brandon Miller here. I segued horribly then. That was a failure. That was an eBay return request failure, wasn't it?
It was. Get the tracking wrong.
Would you buy that for 13,000? This is what I'm slowly getting to.
No. Last week I think we there was another Wemby 1 of 1, and at that point I'm like, how many different 1 of 1s till the 1 of 1 phenomena is not as special, and you need to be a bit more picky about it.
Yeah.
And I just think that Donruss is like the choices, not where I'm hoping I'm going to hit a 1 of 1.
Actually, I've got a better comp. So last week we spoke about the young man who sold the Jalen Brunson
the
1 of 1 Nebula for $350, right?
Yeah.
So actually, when you put it in that context, and then it sold for 90,000.
Yeah.
And I think Brandon Miller's got some legs. I actually think he's very skilled.
Yeah.
And I think if we're being realistic about last year, I think that was a very difficult situation to go in. Like, they were completely upended last year with injuries.
What do you think the Brandon Miller rookie Nebula Prism would be worth?
Probably double that.
So you reckon, around the 25 to 30.
20, yeah, sure, 20 to 25, yeah.
Okay.
But where I'm going with this is, I think he's pretty talented. So it's not crazy to say that will pop, but is it guaranteed to to go to that much? No way. Like, I don't think so.
No, it's not.
I think there's definitely a lot of risk there,
but you have to get in. The problem with people paying these overs, I guess, paying the hype tax, I guess we call it.
Yeah.
That gap is, if you don't get in early and you don't pay the gap early, then if it does go crazy, then you've lost, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting that you have to pay the tax somewhere.
Yeah. Alrighty. I think this is going to be the last thing I'm going to talk about tonight, Ad, but this is a really good way to go out. So I was thinking about this today. Kirk Goldsberry, I think, is one of the smartest guys in basketball, but he's also so good at presenting you information in a visual way that even an idiot like me can understand. So follow Kirk Goldsberry on Instagram. Now, this post is from November the 13th. So if you want to go back and look at this on Instagram, you can. Again, otherwise it'll be in the link on the show. Yeah. And it's called Tears of a Clown. And I think what the argument he's trying to make here is that number one on the pyramid is Nikola Jokic.
Yep.
And he's labeled that the Serbian man tier. Guys that are sick of Serbian man tier is SGA and Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
The next tier is called 2 Anthonys and 1 Luka, which is Luka, Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Davis.
I love it.
And then the bottom of the pyramid is Donovan Mitchell, which he should definitely be in this conversation because the Cavs are still unbeaten. Giannis, Brunson, who we were just talking about 2 seconds ago, and of course Steph Curry, which is technically in control of the most efficient team in the league at the moment.
Did you read out the name of that tier? That is the some more guys over here tier.
He's smart and funny, Kirk Goldsberry.
Yes. And then he's got right down the bottom, he's got Don't Rule Us Out, KD, Booker, and Ja Morant.
Yeah. So in Kirk's comment, what he's saying is not Serbi. See poll below. Bad news for those people sick of Nikola Jokic winning the NBA MVP. He might do it again. The dude is leading the league in rebounds and assists and is 4th in scoring. Oh, and the Nuggets are suddenly 7-3. So, yeah. It's
from an 0-2 start there, yeah, 7-3, yeah.
Yeah, he's just so good at basketball. It's just not funny, isn't it? Something else I found on Twitter from @NBA History. Nikola Jokic is the first player in NBA history to total 37 points, 18 rebounds, and 15 assists in one game. Interrupt me. Go.
But that's a very specific number.
I think the kicker there is the number of assists. I reckon heaps of dudes have had 37 and 18.
Okay.
But to get that,
do you know? But people are like rounded up, right? Like a 30, 15, and 15.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying 100%. But I would say the thing that really makes this an outlying stat is the 15 assists. Like, that is insane when you think about it.
I want to know what the next closest to the pin is. Is it 36, 18, and 15?
Yeah. It'll be 14. It'll be like 14 assists, yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Or maybe there's multiples. Maybe there's someone sitting there with 35 points, 17 rebounds, and 16 assists.
Yeah.
Who knows? But that's insane. You're right.
Alrighty. Luka Doncic is on my brain. Nikola Jokic. Population on a silver PSA 10 is 174. This last sold for 2,600. I got to tell you, I got cold feet on this. I was hoping to get one last year, and I just didn't pull the trigger. And small sample size, but he's doing it again, isn't he? What if he gets another MVP?
It's not that much of a what if, right?
And the population is so low in that.
There's not many people in the league that are better than him. That pyramid is bang on.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, current MVP race.
Yeah.
The top 3, I don't know, you could change the order a little bit, but the top 5 have been Jokic, SGA, Anthony Davis, Luka's in there, and Tatum. Like, at what point is this guy the unicorn that everyone touted Porzingis and Giannis to be?
Yeah. It actually sets a really high bar for Wemby to overcome. Like, if we're talking ultra modern cards and players. Yeah. So, actually, that's a sick comp. Like, we just sit down, I put a graphic together, we do Wemby versus Jokic right now.
Wow, okay. I mean, I know.
Then you've got all the upside.
Wemby's going to get a quadruple double at some point.
You've got the high pop count, the low pop count, and then you've got the prices, and you can just like comp it all out. That's fun.
True. Yeah.
Next week.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as the... Yeah, if I'm putting my money behind, I don't know, the big European player. It's not Luka, it's Nikola Jokic.
So at 2.6, would you feel comfortable buying that?
What's that? Yeah.
Would you like that or a fake Kobe Kaboom? What you tell me?
Oh, really? I'll take
Too
that.
Soon?
No, I'll take.
Too soon?
I'll take the Jokic. Although
that was mean, wasn't it?
No, I like that for a price. I do like it. I think
it's not outrageous, is it? Yeah.
It isn't. It's been on the rise, but then again, it hasn't. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Like, he ebbs and flows, but every time people lose confidence in him, he goes and just defies reality. Like, Aaron Gordon's out injured. Do you know what I mean? Like, the Nuggets are thin, but he's like, it doesn't matter.
The thing I like about him the most is just how good he's at getting everyone else into the offense. It almost doesn't matter who's around him. He can just sort of have people play off him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And he finds a way. Like, it's amazing. You're right. You've actually hit the nail on the head how he makes players better.
Oh.
Like, he's got these point guard qualities in this.
He's a point center. Absolutely.
Point center. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Really quickly, we got to tie this off. But looking at this sheet, I think this is also like a fun sheet to buy players of.
Yeah.
I feel like Kurt Goldsberry's just done all our homework for us. Okay, that's the episode done. Let's just talk about these 10 players that's in the pyramid. That's it.
Yeah.
Who cares about all this speculation? Grady Dick. Are you kidding me? Like, here's Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, Giannis, Donovan Mitchell. That's it. That's the lowest you would speculate on. The worst player in here is Donovan Mitchell, and maybe we would buy some of him. And that's, you know what I mean? That's it. That's the whole episode done.
Yeah.
I cut you off. Sorry, mate.
No, I'm looking at it. I'm like, we'll talk about Steph later. We'll make him a topic.
Sure,
later.
We can do Steph next week, just like we did. Yeah, done. All right, mate. Thanks for a great show.
Thank you. We will see everybody. Hopefully, everybody that's
Sunday.
in Melbourne Sunday at the Hobby Hangout. Please come up and say hello.
Yep. Trade cards with us.
Question. Come and show us your trades. Let's do a deal.
Yep.
Let's hang out. This is going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Central Coast Radio, shout out. Thank you so much.